Hello, my name is Rick Carver. I just want to remind everyone this story that I'm about to tell you is entirely true. I will present only the facts and let you decide if there has been any fraud perpetrated. You will decide if a cover-up has been done by any or all of the individuals I will name and present the information on. You will decide if I have a case or not. The facts of this story incriminate a very powerful, very well-connected insurance company, the Security Title Guarantee Corporation of Baltimore. Specifically, their Senior Vice President and Claims Counsel, John Cecil. Like many other stories from our time, this has been what seems to be an unbelievable political twist, where the Maryland Attorney General's office, run by Brian Frosh, and the Maryland Insurance Administration, run by Al Redmer, are deeply involved and complicit to this very moment. I have documented how both of these offices mishandled not only my official complaints, but also how I have been mistreated and disrespected ridiculously. I will display the open bias towards me and the written complaints of criminal conduct I have made against the politically and powerful, connected Senior Vice President, John Cecil. I will show you how the current Cecil County government has turned their backs on me, and to this very minute, I'm still waiting on questions to be answered from County Executive Alan McCarthy and Cecil County Council Attorney Jason Allison. Very important questions that need to be answered, and I'm still waiting. These questions regard the land records offices, both state and county, how and why Cecil County State's Attorney James Dillmeyer refuses to investigate any criminality in this case, which includes open perjury and criminal conspiracy of a fraud perpetrated against the Cecil County Circuit Court during trial. I will provide complete details and show all the documents these people have, and they've reviewed them. They have these documents. You will question and make the decision about what the hell has been going on and why. I'm still asking. You may ask yourselves why I haven't contacted any of my political representatives and asked for their help and guidance. Well, the answer is that I have asked many of these politicians, a lot of them, but they seem more than reluctant to get involved. They actually seem to be very intimidated by some of these people who have wronged me. I'll be naming them all. I have emails from all of them. Logs. I will walk you step by step through the information and show you how John Cecil from the Security Title stole my land and why. But that's only part of this incredible story. How he got away with it and how all those involved helped him cover it up is shameful. You know a lot of these names. They are from Cecil County. As incredible as this may sound, it was the actual trial transcripts that I will share from John Cecil's own testimony, along with the false claims made on record by his own defense lawyer, Dwight Tomey, and other claims they have made in this trial, which gave away clues that there was something much more at play that was hidden. They were hiding them. The clues helped us. I've spent thousands of hours conducting painstaking investigation and research, scrutinizing each and every sentence spoken in the trial. Every document that was admitted into evidence at the trial has been analyzed and matched to the testimony given. I will highlight and prove how John Cecil from Security Title committed criminal fraud against me and the Cecil County Circuit Court. The damages amount to millions of dollars. So let's get started. The timeline we're starting with of these events are as follows. This is how it started. In the summer of 1998, my family and I bought a farm in Chesapeake City, which consisted of 3 separate parcels of property. There was no modern survey, no modern legal descriptions that was with this deed. So I ordered a new modern survey to be done and title search and legal descriptions for the property and hired McCrone Engineering out of Elkton to do this. This work was to be completed prior to closing on the farm properties, and our plan also was to build a house on one of those parcels, which was the 41-acre parcel. The new survey and legal descriptions provided clear and professional metes and bounds with legal descriptions of the 3 parcels. Additionally, McCrone was hired to survey and applied for a minor subdivision that would split up the 41-acre parcel, and it created a 3.5-acre parcel that we built our house on, which left the bigger parcel to be 37 acres. We went to settlement on the farm in August of 1998. I have attached the title deed, which is document A1, below this video. Notice in this document the 3 modern-day legal descriptions that were now made part of this recorded record. Cecil County approved the minor subdivision shortly after we went to settlement, and the Cecil County Council Attorney at the time, Dwight Tomey, was the county attorney during this whole time period back in 1998. And he signed off on the subdivided plans and easements of the new 3.5-acre parcel. It was referred to as minor subdivision number 3102. Then the Cecil County Office of Planning and Zoning stamped, approved, and recorded this parcel in land records on September 29th, 1998. Now, we have the same amount of land, but instead of the original 3 parcels, we have 4 parcels. Please see below our video B1, B2, B3, and B4, which are the State Department of Assessment and Taxation documents for Maryland, 1 for each of the 4 parcels. Then, brokenheartedly, in 2005, my wife and I made the decision to separate and divorce. As part of our negotiated agreement between ourselves, my wife did not wish to sell off and split anything at this time. Instead, for now, she just wanted to have no financial liabilities from the marriage and simply just move on. I agreed to take on and accept all financial liabilities. I called our banker with Citizens Bank and explained to him the situation and that I needed a loan that would consolidate other loans, which included the 3.5 acres and house. The bank ordered an appraisal to determine if the house and 3.5 acre lot by itself had enough value to collateralize the total combined sum of $560,000 needed to consolidate all those other combined loans. The appraisal came in at $720,000, more than enough to collateralize this loan. The banker called a title company from Delaware, Global Title, to handle all the paperwork, title work, and recordings needed and associated with the loan. Please remember that name, Global Title. We'll come back many times in other segments. I filled out the loan application, and Citizens approved the loan. Please look closely at the first page. This is very important. Many times I will refer to this. My name only is listed as the borrower. The subject property address is correct, and nothing is under co-borrower, etc. On the third page, please look closely under present market value in the center, top center. This is where the bank's appraised value was listed for the house and lot. The settlement for this loan was completed on July 26, 2005. And then we have new directions in our life. Lots of personal things went on between 2005 and 2010. In those 5 years, I started a new business, struggled with being an empty nester as my son moved to Boston to attend the Berklee College of Music. My parents and grandparents lived in one of the houses on the property. I was still married, and we both continued to work hard on our marriage. In August of 2008, my grandmom passed, and my mom died 1 month later. My pops died not long after. During this time, we had some financial challenges. Our bank, Citizens, was working with us in a very limited way. We started considering options that would mean big changes in our future. The banks were aware of our issues and our new plans to begin. So we began them. Like all banks, they were concerned. They should be concerned. At this period in time, which was 2008, 2009, it's important to remember what was going on in our country and the economy. The real estate, housing, and banking crisis was in full swing. This caused a cascading or snowballing effect, falling down on me and my family as well. The bank was threatening to take many different actions to protect their interests. Our property values went through the floor like everyone's did throughout our country at that time. The personal trauma from losing family made our decisions very tough at the time, but was welcomed at the same time as well. We decided to sell the properties and our business. We were deciding if we would sell the house and the 3.5 acres as well. We were going to pay off all of our debts and stay away from any legal complexities. We embraced this plan for change and started the direction with an open heart and an open mind. After many months and several offers, one offer we accepted. This offer included the business and 3 parcels of the farm property that the business needed to operate on. Our home in the 3.5 acre parcel it sits on was still being negotiated, but would become part of a much bigger deal shortly down the road. This sale would put our family back in front of all financial challenges and in the direction we looked forward to. After months of due diligence from both the buyer's legal team, our attorneys, accountants, and banks, a settlement date was ready to be set, and our new direction and our new life was close to being launched. The timeline was 2010. We were waiting for a settlement date to be set. Then we got the call that changed our lives forever. One day our attorney called a meeting in his office for my wife and myself immediately in Wilmington, Delaware. This is when we were informed that the buyer's lawyers found brand new liens placed on my property and changes were made to our original deed of trust from that loan way back in 2005 that we showed you a little earlier. These were not there in the land records a few months earlier when the buyers made their initial title and deed searches, which is standard procedure. In fact, we learned shortly after that 5 years later, on July 22nd, 2010, a new fraudulent counterfeit deed of trust was filed with Cecil County Land Records, which replaced the original deed of trust from back in 2005. We had no idea. We gave no permission, and we were never notified of this action whatsoever by anyone. Everyone involved with this sale desperately tried to make sense out of what happened. We tried to not only get to who and why, to figure out who and why, but how to reverse the counterfeit deed. This was taking more time than the buyers and their legal team could allow. It was very complex. After some weeks, the deal was over. The buyer who worked with us for a very long time to get everything to the settlement table was forced to walk away. A multi-million-dollar deal was dead along with our plans to start over. Our attorney at the time, who is now disbarred, indicated that her research led to the bank's lawyers, Friedman and McFadden, and that they were behind the refiling of the fraudulent deed of trust. We filed a lawsuit against Citizens Bank and Security Title Guarantee of Baltimore. Nothing was ever worked out with anyone involved in the interim. Prior to actually going to trial in 2017, some of the things that went on are as follows. Unfortunately, my wife and I divorced after almost 40 years of marriage. All the pressures, intensity, and cost of this type of high-level litigation was too much for the marriage to bear. The bank always refused to negotiate with us. The law firm representing Citizens Bank went under state and federal criminal investigation for criminal foreclosure practices, and other illegal document issues. The outcome of those investigations forced them to close their doors. And that stalled some of these legalities that we were going through at the time for a good while. A new firm was eventually brought in by the bank. This reality reinforced our belief at the time that it was the bank's law firm that committed the crimes against us. Boy, did we find out how wrong we were. The trial on the fraudulent filing begins. Before entering the courtroom, in April 2017, the new lawyers for the bank made an offer to us. It was a no money exchanging hands kind of a deal, but it would finally allow some closure, but mainly it allowed for some understanding as to what really happened. What was discovered in trial was the Security Title Guarantee Corporation of Baltimore, but specifically their senior vice president, John Koskiv, secretly re-recorded our deed of trust from that refinance loan from way back in 2005. In fact, John Koskiv stole our property. By adding my wife's name to the deed of trust, added 2 additional parcels totaling over 60 acres, and altered language from the original deed of trust. His actions created new ownership of the stolen property. We could do nothing about it. In our series, we will expose the blueprint of a conspiracy to commit criminal fraud that was executed against the Carvers, my family, and the Cecil County Circuit Court. It was done to avoid paying a title insurance claim of more than $500,000. That's what it's about. Stay tuned for the rest of this incredible story. Thank you very much.